Summary of Outcasts united by Warren St. John. At the beginning of the book, Luma Almaflay is guiding a soccer team called the Fugees, which is made up of only refugee children, in Clarkston, Georgia. The Fugees win 9-2 thanks to a great soccer game. Wayne St. John has never seen the Fugees play before this game. He thinks the team is great, but he can tell that the players and boss are having a hard time getting along. He is most amazed by how quickly kids from all over the world have become friends. Back in the past, St. John sees Luma as a kid. The family that gives birth to Luma is very rich. She goes to the American Community School in Amman and quickly learns how good she is at sports. Rhonda Brown, who teaches volleyball, really likes how she stands out. Brown counts on her players to show up on time, work hard, pay attention, and get better. The coach is aware that she is strict and that some players may not like her, but she wants them to become better. Luma thinks that Jordan is too hard on girls after she goes to college in the US, so she leaves Jordan for good and stops being close to her family. She goes to Atlanta and opens a coffee shop called Ashton's while coaching a girls' team at the YMCA there. She trains the girls' team like Coach Brown did. She is tough, but the girls value her and it helps the team get better. Liberia was in the middle of a civil war in 1997, and Beatrice Zayedi and her kids Jeremiah, Mandela, and Darlington had to leave after seeing her husband killed. The family runs away to a refugee camp and then moves to Clarkston, Georgia. Beatrice is robbed on the street soon after she gets there, which makes her nervous about leaving her kids and going to work. When she's not around, she tells them to stay inside. Because it's close to Atlanta and has cheap homes, Clarkston is a popular place for resettlement groups. Between 1980 and 2000, Clarkston's population changes a lot. Now, 1/3 of the people living there were born somewhere else. A lot of conservative white people who live in Clarkston don't like these foreigners coming to town. Lee Swaney is elected as mayor. He calls himself a defender of old Clarkston. A lot of refugees in the town feel like they are not welcome by longtime locals and are treated badly by the cops. As Luma drives outside of Atlanta one day, she sees boys of different races playing soccer and decides to join in. With the boys' help, she starts a free program for refugee kids after getting to know them for a few months. A lot of people try out, including Jeremiah Zayedi, who can't wait to get out of his room. Beatrice is afraid for his safety, but Luma tells her she will look after Jeremiah like he is her own kid. During her first season, Luma sees that many of the boys don't have a basic education. To help them, she starts a training program along with the soccer practices and makes her players go to all of them. She also sees that the boys separate during drills based on race or language, and that there is a lot of racism in the way they treat each other. In the meantime, she meets the families of the boys and helps them get used to life in the US. It's her job to explain papers and talk to teachers and social workers. As her time with the Fugees grows, she makes the choice to close Ashton's and stop teaching at the YMCA. She spends all of her time with the Fugees. Bien Twari and his family come to Clarkston the following year. They had to leave Burundi because of a civil war between the Hutu and Tutsi groups. Bien meets Grace Belgemeyer on his first day in Clarkston. Grace is from the Congo and knows Swahili, the same language that Bien does. Bien meets the Fugees through Grace in the middle of their season. Luma lets Bien join training because she knows that the Fugees can help new kids. It's also important to keep in mind that when the boys get together for drills, they play with kids from different areas and backgrounds because new kids always throw into the mix. But when she can get the bright kids on the biggest Fugees team, the under-17s, to work together instead of against each other, they never lose. In the spring of 2006, things get worse between the Clarkston Community Center, which owns the field, and the YMCA, which is paying for Luma to use their field. The Fugees are then kicked off of their field. The Y finds a new field behind Indian Creek Elementary School, but it is full of broken glass and dirt. Although Luma is mad, she has no choice but to play their next season. Luma is teaching 3 Fugees teams this season. The first is the under-17s, who are the most grown and mostly take care of themselves. She also teaches the under-13s, who are the youngest and can handle her strict rules the best. The under-15s cause Luma the most problems and often don't do what she says. Prince, a skilled player, skips tutoring and challenges Luma's power, which makes other players do the same. Luma makes it a rule that players' hair has to be short because long hair is a sign of gang membership. He doesn't follow the rule, so she kicks him off the team. The under-15s show up to a game early in the season with only 2 players because they missed the bus. Luma is very angry, and Mandela Zayedi talks St. John into driving back to get more players, but she doesn't want to teach them. The Fugees lose by a score of 7-2. Luma says that she is ending the under-15 season for that year. Liberian player Kanyubaya, who had come to the team 2 years before and fully bought into Luma's scheme, is upset by this choice. Because his uncle works all day and is only home for 4 hours at a time, the team has become like family to him. Luma agrees to hold a second round of tryouts after Kanyu, Mandela, and Natnal make the case. She agrees to start over with the team, but she is afraid that they will have a bad season with mostly new folks on it. Somehow, though, the 15s win their first game 4-2. Tito, a boy who had been training with the under-15s, is shot in the face the next day for acting like he was in a gang. He makes it through, but Luma kicks him off the team because she is afraid the gang will try to get back at them, and she wants to keep her boys safe. She helps the boys think of the best ways to stay away from gangs. On the other hand, Luma is tired of the field at Indian Creek because it's not good for her players and anyone can walk through it. She tells the Clarkston City Council why they should help her. At first, they don't want to let her use a field at Armistead Park, but Mayor Swaney talks them into letting her for 6 months. People can't go into the new field because it's blocked off and looks beautiful. This time, St. John talks about another Fugee named Kendram Bushi. He had to leave his home in Kosovo because of fighting between the Serbian Yugoslav Army and the Kosovo Liberation Army. They had to leave everything behind and walk for 2 days to get to a refugee camp in Macedonia. From there, they moved to the United States. The under-13s start to play better while the under-15s are having a hard time. They make jokes about each other and can come back in a game they're down 1-0 to show how determined they are to win. Luma learns more and more about her players' skills in games, especially those of Robin and Idwar Dakori, 2 boys who just moved to the US from Sudan and lost their mother and sisters in a car accident not long after they got here. The 15ths are still having trouble at the same time. He gets worse and worse because he is upset that Prince and then another Liberian player named Forneti quit the team. He gets angry with his friends when they mess up and won't pass the ball. Even though she is close with his mother and brothers, Luma feels she has to kick him out of the program for the good of the team as a whole. Luma gets off the bus one day to go to an under-13s game, but the cops stop her for a broken tail light. Luma doesn't know why her license has been taken away, but the officer tells her that it has, and she is jailed. She stays in jail all day while the under-13s play a game and lose. Tracy Ediger, who helps Luma with the Fugees, gets her out of trouble, and she tells the boys she's sorry she missed the game. After a bad season, the 15ths lose their last game 3-1. Luma means what she says when she says that they will have to keep following her rules and doing things her way if they want to keep going. While Kanyu and Natnal are upset, they know they need to put in more effort next season. The 13ths, on the other hand, have done well this year. On their last regular season game, they pray together, with prayers from both Christians and Muslims. They win 2-1 and finish third in their division. Luma takes them to play in the Tornado Cup as a prize. Almost, they tie their last game and don't make it to the finals because that's against the rules of the competition. Luma is mad that they lost the lead and tells them they didn't play their best in a tough message. Still, Luma wants to take the under-13s and 15s to a game after Christmas. The boys wash cars and rake leaves to help raise money for the trip. Then, though, Mayor Swaney sends the Fugees a letter that says they can't play at Armistead Park anymore. When Luma finds out about the unfair choice, she gets angry and tries to fight it, but she has to find another place first. As an ending, St. John talks about what happened after this season. People criticize Mayor Swaney a lot after he breaks the Fugees' story in the New York Times, but he lets them go back to Armistead Park. The Fugees also get money from donors, which helps Luma grow her program. Also, Luma makes peace with Mandela and helps him get into Job Corps. He also helps many of the other boys get into college. Many of the boys move around over time, but new refugees always come in and take their place, and Luma keeps spending time with them. At the end of the book, St. John quotes Tracy as saying that Luma is just a normal person doing what she can for the people around her and that she shows that anyone can do something good for their community.
About the author. St. John was born in Birmingham, Alabama, and went to college at Columbia. From 2002 to 2008, he worked as a writer for the New York Times. His first book, Rammer Jammer Yellow Hammer, A Road Trip into the Heart of Fan Mania, is about sports fans and the 1999 season for the Alabama Crimson Tide. In 2009, he put out Outcasts United. There are also pieces that St. John has written for Wired, The New Yorker, Slate, and The New York Observer.
Hope we summarized it fully and you liked it. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we are motivated to create more videos.